Welcome back to the Bako Motorsports Power Hour Bakersfield Speedway segment. Scott Schweitzer has not gone anywhere.
I didn't leave. I stayed for another 15 minutes.
Another 15 minutes, talk about the biggest race of the year, and we hit on it earlier in the other session, but basically around, and it's been this way for several years now, around 200 race cars,
Right.
175 to 200. It's been over 200 on the heyday.
Absolutely.
And just hours and hours of racing. First of all, Friday and Saturday night, both nights. And what time does it start?
Gates open at 4. First race 5 p.m. on both nights. So we got just over 600 laps of racing scheduled for 2 days. So it's a lot of racing, some good racing, great drivers from all over the West Coast and Oregon and Arizona. So you definitely come out and you're going to see a great event.
Yeah, we got on Friday, you got the late models, modifieds, sport mods, not the IMCA stocks. They're only running Saturday only. Hobby stocks and American stocks. And then on Saturday, those same divisions, late models, modified, sport mods, IMCA stocks, hobby stocks.
And the pro stocks.
And the pro stocks are added. So, and the thing here is that the late models and modifieds run full shows both days. And if anybody thinks there's a few cars, I've got the results from last year. It takes several sheets of paper to take a look at what happened out there. Interesting last year that in the late models, and we've got a slide of this guy, the Steve Drake. If you can show that first slide that's up, Charmaine, I think the 11111 car. He's been winning everything this year out of Bakersfield Speedway. And you look back last year, he won Friday night show. Bobby Hogue finished second. And then on Saturday was Tony Toast, followed by Steve Drake. So I'd say that the 11 car Steve Drake is going to be a factor.
Yeah, I mean, notorious for the Bud Nationals, Bobby Hogue's had the handle on that and for the last few years. But then last season in 15, yeah, we had a totally different array of winners. And then Steve Drake's been struggling for a while and came out with the win at the Nationals and then has just carried that over through this whole year of 16 in our local late model races. So coming into the Bud Nationals, he's the odds-on favorite, which we're looking at with the late models.
You look at that and look at the list of drivers. Yeah, Bobby Hogan used to say he used to have the keys to the place. I think he got the keys back because he walked away with 3 guitars, I think, a couple of years ago or 4. He won both IMCA modified races and I think both late model races.
Yeah, he's been dominant out there and, for the Bud Nationals. So, but he'll be strong. There's definitely, Bobby just won Friday and Saturday night up in Ocean Speedway, their big 2-day show. So he's got his stuff ready. He's notoriously good, on the open shows, and he'll bring his best game to the Bud Nationals.
And I think sometime during the year you do a few interesting trophies for some of your events. This one, it's been tradition for the past several years that the winner doesn't get a trophy. They get a Budweiser guitar. They've been red in the past, but they're a little different this year.
Yeah, this year we got the blue ones out, and they're Bud Light guitars. So, very fortunate to have Budweiser Advanced Beverage on board with us for the official beer, and they get behind us on this event as well. And this year we got blue ones, something different, so it's cool. Everybody's looking for something different, so that's what we got.
Yeah, and if anybody wonders, drivers, yes, they want that guitar.
Absolutely. I mean, I hear it all the time. I mean, they're just looking for the Bud Nationals because they want the guitar, so that's a cool thing to have. And Lee Jensen, for example, he won it and came back the next year and played the national anthem with it. So
yeah, so that was pretty cool. He was determined he was going to learn to play the national anthem.
I'm going to make sure, which is cool. That proved to everybody it's a really legit working guitar.
Yeah, so that's good. And you look at that list: Cody Laney, Ethan Dotson. Both of those guys are going to be running. They ran the Regana a lot of this summer.
Yeah, they've been on the
modifieds in the Midwest.
Yeah, they've been back east running, hard, and they came back. They raced the last event of the season, which was good, and Ethan had a great run. Cody had some car trouble, but those two you can't count those two out. So it's going to be a tough pick. I mean, if you had to try to pick who you think, I mean, obviously Bobby Hogue's who you'd put your money on, but there's so much talent that comes in people from up north and out of state for this race. So.
I figure probably around 20 late models for this race. I think he had 23 last year or something, a full field of late models. But the real competition, it's really tough to make the main event, is in the modifieds. And we had that slide, the previous slide of Nick Spainhoward, because he won one of those races last year, I believe. Or no, he did not. But Brad Pounds won last year. Kyle Heckman was second. Heckman won Saturday night, and then Pounds won Pounds was second.
Yeah,
So,
Brad Pound's coming in now has made the switch. He's driving for Bill Henderson, which is Kyle Heckman's old car. So Brad Pounds is a great guy to. It's going to have a great run here at the Bud Nationals.
you look at this. I look at the B mains last year on Saturday night, just trying to get the main. Brad Pounds.
Yeah.
So he came from a B main, started at the rear of the field on Saturday night, and finished second. That's a heck of a drive.
Yeah, I mean, with the Bud Nationals is draw redraw, obviously. So they draw for a starting spot. If they start at the back of their heat, and with the Bud Nationals, we have a lot of heats, and you only take the top 3 cars. So if you draw a large number and you start 8th in your heat, you got a long ways to go and only 8 laps. So if you don't, then you're sent to a B main and got to work your way through. But showing that, I mean, it can be done. You can come through the B main and still get on top.
Oh, yeah. I look at a B main on the Friday night out there. Guys in the B main, first through fifth. Clay Daly, Ryan Daves, Mike Kirby, Robbie Sawyer, and John Piker.
Yeah.
All those guys win races.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 of our top 5 points guys that came through a B main.
And they're in a B main. So it just shows that you need a good draw for your heat race.
Yeah.
And
you gotta go hard and get a top 3, so you go on to the main event. Transfer through your heat race and not have to go through the B mains.
So what that means is that heat races quite often are just kind of a bit of a formality during a Saturday night show. Maybe nobody's going to press it too much. You don't want to take any chances. Heat races at the Bud National are not a formality.
No, you got to get up and go, and you want to we take the top 12 through it's usually 4 heat races, so we'll take the top 3, which will give us the magic number of 12, and those guys will redraw again for their starting positions in the main. You want to get through your heat to get in that top 12, so you have a shot of drawing good for the main.
And you also have a little dash for the late model drives, the top 4.
Yeah, for the late models each night we have a dash, and then also for the sport mods and for the hobbies this year we're bringing back the qualifier mains. So they'll qualify through their heat races, and then they'll take that top 12 and they'll pill draw for their starting positions, and they'll run a 10-lap race. And the way they finish that race is the way the first 6 rows will line up for Saturday's bigger race, because those guys are a 2-day race.
Yeah. So what you get there is throughout the event a premium on racing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because no doubt starting up front is better. As Brad Pound showed, you can come all the way from the back to the front, but he didn't win. He finished second. Had he started even mid-pack, he's probably going to win that race.
And the key about the Bud National as well is Saturday, because there's so much racing, so many laps that are put on the track. This track goes blue groove, and it's slick all the way across. So it's a tricky track on Saturday. So you want to start up front and hopefully stay up there.
And what you're saying is that Friday night's track is totally different from Saturday night's track.
2 totally different deals. Usually on the first night we're close to breaking track records and qualifying in the late models, and then Saturday's qualifying, they're a second or 2 slower, but then the track will come back, could get a little bit faster as they lay some rubber down.
And if you look at it though, the guys who you would expect to figure out both tracks as the cliche goes, cream rises to the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you're seeing the Heckmans, the Pounds, Bobby Hogue, those guys up there in the modifieds. I think this year Robbie Sawyer's had such a strong season. I'm really looking forward to that modified race.
Yeah, it's gonna be a dogfight for sure. I mean, there's a lot of people that are on their A game right now, and they all look forward to this race. They know the significance. It's one of those deals that you want to say you're a Bud National winner. So whatever they have and been working on their cars, they're bringing everything in the kitchen sink for this weekend.
Yeah, look, last year I was right. Nick Spainhoward won the sport mod race. We had his slide. Ricky Childress Jr., he's had a strong year. Jay Marks, Michael Johnson, Nick Sylvester were the top 5 last year. Interesting in that as well, in the sport mods, the same thing. You just don't know how you're going to get to that main event. It's a struggle. I think Chris McKellar had to go through B main last year.
Yeah, Chris McKellar, our track champion, he's excited, got his car ready to go. I mean, he's really had a great year in sport mods, and he'd like to cap it off with a Bud Nationals win. Nick Spainhauer's got his He was up at the Pettit race. Wayne Dotson, got a new car, and he's ready to go for the Bud Nationals. So Jason Nation just is in a brand new Victory Circle Sport Mod. He tested it Sunday. So these guys are bringing out their stuff, their best game, and for the Bud Nationals because they want that title.
Yeah, so that Sport Mod race, just tons of good racing.
Yeah.
And even go look at the hobby stocks last year. Michael Scruggs got a win. I think he probably surprised a lot of people. Porterville driver. He's raced here, and then he started the season off with a win this year at Bakersfield Speedway. Didn't come down a ton of races, wasn't in the points contest because he races elsewhere, but he came back and then won another. So he's won 3 races this year. I'd say he has to look at him as one of the favorites.
Yeah, obviously going into the Bud Nationals, he's one of the favorites. And then Kevin Collier, ex-track champion, he'll be back. And, it's just – everybody comes for the Bud Nationals. We got some Paris cars coming. Luke Dodd from Riverside, the Paris area, he's coming, which has won the Friday night portion before. So it'll be a good event.
And then Dakota Brown, track champion this year at the Speedway and American Stocks, won last year's American Stock Bud National. So I'm sure he'll be looking to add a blue guitar to his red guitar.
Yeah, and that American stock field, it's been a great battle all season, and they put a heck of a race on for the final race. So any of those top 5 cars will be for the Nationals, and you never know who's going to come out on that one. So and again, for the guitar, it's going to be a good race.
And then on Saturday night, once again, the IMCA stocks where Michael Johnson has dominated this year. So it'd be interesting to see. He did not win the last point race of the year, but he didn't have to.
Yeah, Steven, by the way.
Steven,
yeah. Steven's had a great season in the stock car. Been a great move for him, and he's got a great team, great cars and all that. So, but, Chad Johnson's right there on his heel. Devin Jones is fast, peaking at the end of the season. So could be anybody's race.
I got messed up there and looked at the Western Pro Stocks winners from last year. Mike Johnson, no relation to Steven Johnson. Won the pro stock race last year, so that's always going to be a good race too.
Yeah.
So, okay, sounds like a lot of racing.
It is. It's going to be a ton of racing. Gates open at 4 each night. Racing starts at 5, a little bit earlier than we did because we got so much going on. So come on out. It's going to be a great event.
When do you start track prep?
We started Monday morning. We had Jason Nation out on Sunday breaking in a brand new car, making sure all the bolts were tied on it, and as soon as he got done, we started working on it. So it was late Sunday evening, and then so the track's looking good.
Okay, I'm glad you could stop by, and we'll look for you out there on Friday night.
I'll be there.
Okay, thanks a lot. Take another break, and we're going to be back with another segment of the Bako Motorsports Power Hour.